Welcome to the Enterprise Excellence Podcast, where our purpose is to help create a better future. Learn from our world's experts how to improve your organisation sustainably. Learn how to achieve and sustain an excellence journey for yourself, others, and the planet.
And I'm your host, Brad Jeavons, coming to you from Brisbane, Australia. We are proudly brought to you in association with SA Partners, a world-leading business transformation consultancy. SA Partners are a truly purposeful company focused on helping organisations achieve sustainable improvement for themselves, others, and the planet.
Welcome to the Enterprise Excellence Podcast. I'm Emily, and here's Brad.
Hey everyone.
Hi. This is our final episode of the year, number 67, and we just thought we'd finish the year just prior to Christmas with a wrap-up of our year and the key insights that we've had this year. We hope you enjoy it, and we'll get started.
And first of all, I'd just like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I hope everyone has a really safe, fun time with your family and friends, and here's to a wonderful 2022.
Yeah, agreed. It's been a bit of a tough year again with the COVID, and we're just opening up here in Queensland and seeing a few changes with our numbers just starting. So yeah, our hearts are really with everybody in this time, and we hope that you can just enjoy some time with loved ones and have some time to rest and recover and rejuvenate and get ready for the next year ahead.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually going to start with interviewing Emily on this, where I'm keen to get from you, what was your key insight or key takeaway from the year from all the episodes that we had?
Oh, it's just been an amazing year. When I think that we're, finishing our second year of the podcast, and we've had a guest every single week. I just can't believe where we're going with the podcast. It's really exciting. Probably the one that I can most remember is with our fellow Brisbaneite, Zanny, because her family business was in dire troubles when COVID first hit. And I really think that as the year has progressed, we've had to become a lot more adaptable and not reactive, but kind of active in knowing where we have to change and make changes to thrive and survive. So I think Zanny, early on in the year, I think that was in March, so can't quite remember, but I think her story definitely of just having to be a bit more agile in our whole day-to-day practice, and also trying to sort of sit back and have that holistic reflection happening on your life as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think, Priestley's and Zenny, they did an amazing job, having so much of their business get parked with COVID, cafes and clubs and pubs, people not eating cakes and slices and all the yummy stuff they make at those places, and they were able to use their agile approaches they'd implemented to adapt quickly and move into new markets.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah, get back on track. It's a credit to them. It
is a credit, yeah. And also you could think about that as, it's a fairly low point when you're at that point. But it also has opened up that new business for them, and would they potentially have not found that new business had they not gotten to that low point?
Yeah, I think out of any crisis can come amazing opportunities, and Zenny and the team and Priestley's is one example, and I guess we've seen so many, but it was just such a wonderful story. And Zenny told it with such humility too. She really, I guess, let our listeners into the hardship she's faced right when COVID hit, and how they went through it. Yeah. She's a real open book, a wonderful person.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, she really shared her vulnerability, I think, in that episode too. And yeah, I think, it just touched on us, the human side of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is really nice.
Well, I guess businesses, our organisation is filled with humans.
That's right, yeah.
That's sort of what makes or breaks it, really.
I think that's the theme that's been coming through really this year, is that the workplace really needs to step up and value each and every human in its workplace. And I think that's sort of been an overriding theme that I've heard from all the guests this year, is that everyone is important and everyone needs respect, and that can really ignite their passion in the workplace to go on and do better. Yeah.
I certainly agree with that, because I think, we all spend so much of our lives at work. It's the bulk of our life is in the workplace largely. And also what occurs in the workplace, whether it's positive or negative, you can't help but bring it home. So work, either unfortunately or fortunately, can lead to positive or negative outcomes when a person goes home as well.
Yeah.
So it's all connected.
It is all
it's
connected.
Just humans and life. And then there's also the planetary impacts or non-impacts that link to that too, because a lot of what's going on in our world and our environment is driven positively or negatively by organisations too. So I guess that's why you and I, Emily, we feel so fortunate to work in the space that we do, because there's a chance to make such a big impact to create a better future.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing. Yeah, it truly is. Because we do our little bit with all our recycling centres, and we have all these little boxes set up, with pens, skincare products, masks. Masks are a big one, hey. Oh man, when I found out that we could recycle masks, and it's through Terracycle, by the way. Terracycle is an amazing company that you can recycle basically anything you can send to them and they will recycle it. It's amazing. So we have our little boxes set up, but that's only targeting us, our little family. And yes, we're teaching our next generation, but we want that to flow out. Yeah.
I think the other factor to note, Em, is the reuse you've got, where you've got all the glass jars, and you go to the places where rather than use packaging, you can refill the glass jars that you can reuse, and a lot of the things that you've stopped using that we can just stop use at all. So it's that whole reuse, basically remove and get rid of it, or recycle. It's really cool.
It is really cool. And I've really enjoyed doing that research on where I can, say, shoes that have holes in them that are pretty used to just go in the bin and landfill. Well, now we've got an avenue for that, to recycle and drop them off and recycle them and buy recycled footwear. I mean, that's been a cool shift too in that whole space.
I think there's a real education point on that, actually, and everyone, this does connect, because Zenny, that Emily mentioned, Priestley's are also really focused on circular economy, and going this path, and they've done so much within their company. So it all connects, just to let you know. But the thing with if you do want to do your bit further, it's not just recycling and it's not just reuse, it's also considering the product you buy. Is it made from recycled matter or not? How much of it is recycled? Because that's a big factor. It's circular economy is not just about recycling, it's about that everything that we actually buy is made from recycled matter, or reuse, where it's an item that we're buying second hand, or it's like Emily's glass jars she uses for food, where you can keep reusing it.
Yeah, glass is just bonus, because it's 100% infinitely usable and recyclable. So why have we, why are we not all using glass?
And then I think if we reflect back on Kevin Zockai's episode, and then also Brian Hurley's earlier on, there is that economic win and environmental win. Everything that we've done in our family, or that we do for businesses like Priestley's, you actually save money or make money as you do it. And it's a real win-win. There's that real symbiotic outcome between getting planetary results nowadays and also getting economic results for your family or for your business. There's no downside.
There is no downside. And I get excited as the customer when I see that full transparency from a company, and when I can see that they're passionate about what they're doing for the environment and for sustainability and the circular economy, and that makes me excited as the customer, and I want to then support their business. So I
think a shout out on that is to another Brisbane company, which is Signet, and the team there. I think the thing that has been impressive with them is they've used their environmental work to really do some great stuff environmentally, but also market it well. So I think they've done very well with promoting all the great stuff they're doing to inspire others and educate others. But they've also then done very well using agile techniques to create new companies like Paclio, which are pure environmentally focused organisations in packaging. It's really cool.
It is really cool.
Go Brisbane. It's not bad. We are a bit of a sleepy city, but there's some good stuff happening.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's good, seeing the changes that are coming. It's really exciting. Yeah.
I'm just hanging for hydrogen cars to finally make it to Australia. That's going to be a nice hydrogen hybrid. Hopefully not far off.
Hopefully. Yeah, the cars are next on the pegging board. Yeah. Well, Brad, you've been working full helter-skelter all year, and I keep on telling him not another book just yet.
Yeah.
He's got this backlog of book ideas, and I'm just like, I don't think so, not just yet, Brad. So, what sort of, do you want to talk about anything else you've kind of learned this year? Or?
I think there's been a common theme through all our guests this year and last year, and definitely there's that common theme around the humanistic side that you mentioned, Em, and also a lot of the environmental win-win, which has been great. But the real highlight for me has been for companies that want to transform and really shift their performance. When you distill it all down, and I go back over all the episodes I listen to and all the books I've read and all the study that I do and all the experience that I have with working with companies, it really comes down to two things. One is ultimately leadership behaviours. So number one is leaders looking at their behaviours and, being grateful and excited and celebrating the great behaviours they're doing that are really driving great cultural outcomes. And the other one then is what behaviours are they doing that might be impacting the culture negatively. And leadership behaviours are such a powerful impact on culture. And so to me, that's really the number one key element to create a culture of performance. And the second one is then how much the systems within a company drive culture also, which leads to either good performance or poor performance. And I think working with Jeff Sutherland of the Scrum Inc., and he's a legend with what he's done around organisations in the world. Jeff said to me early on, Brad, it's deploy the Scrum system and you will get a culture of performance. And I initially was taken back a little bit by what he said, but I guess I've seen it, and I see it with the systems, other systems in an organisation, like systems of how we measure and reward people. That'll drive behaviours and culture. The systems of how we onboard people and train people. The systems in a company of how we recognise or don't recognise people. The systems in a company of deploying budget and what we allow people to just freely do or not do. So to me, just makes transformation and culture change so simple for an organisation when you think that there's two dials to turn. In what I see. One is, okay, what leadership behaviours do we need to tweak, and what systems do we need to tweak? And you get those two, you work on the critical few out of those two for your next 12 months or 2 years, depending on how complex the change is, and away you go. There's so many books and so much research out there on it all, but everything stems back to those two things.
Yeah, and but talking about the leadership behaviours, are you finding that leaders are quite natural at reflecting on their own behaviours, or sorry if we're opening up a can of worms here, but I was leading to, do you think leaders of the companies of today need some help in reflection?
Yeah, massively.
Yeah.
And next year we've got Dan Pink's episode coming up, which
so
I think,
exciting.
yeah, it's a really cool one, everyone, on this topic. And it's not just on leadership. Dan talks generally in relation to reflection. I can't say anything more about it because it's his new book coming out, and we need to release the episode at the right time. But in order to alter your behaviours as a leader, or in order to actually reflect on the systems of your business and make changes, you got to reflect. Like the key thing you need to do is be able to establish systems to be able to reflect as a leader or reflect as a leadership team and think about the behaviours that you're exuding and people are seeing or hearing, and then also think about the systems of your business and what's working for our culture or against our culture. But you've nailed it, Em. Without having that system to reflect, you've got no chance.
Yeah.
And I think it can be as simple as, once a month there's a meeting which is a reflection meeting that an executive does, or even a middle management leadership team. Or it could be weekly, a leader sitting down at the end of the week and just reflecting on their week.
Just for 10 minutes.
5 minutes.
5 minutes. It's such an important part of life to find that balance, and to inspire you as to what you need to change. And it only takes 5 minutes a week.
Yeah. And you get amazing results. Out of, again, Agile and the work that Jeff Sutherland's done with Scrum, the retrospective is such a great concept and a great part of that process, where you just look at your behaviours for the week and you look at the systems that are playing out in your company, and you just reflect on, okay, what should I keep doing? What's working? Is there anything we should just stop doing? Is there any behaviours I'm doing, or are there any systems in the company that we should just stop? The sun will still come up tomorrow if I don't do them, and it'll actually make things better. And then the final question is, what should we start doing? Is there any leadership behaviours that I'm not doing that I should start doing that might actually help shift our culture in a better direction? Or are there any systems that we actually need in our company that we need to start doing, like Scrum and Agile, if you don't have a high performance style cultural and improvement meetings going, that might actually shift our culture? Yeah, it's so simple.
It sounds so simple.
I think you nailed it, Bud, and with the starting point is to set up that rhythm where you can reflect. And look at the retro. You can find out about the retro. We'll put something up on the website, enterpriseexcellencepodcast.com.au, so you can have a look at that. And I'll also put up there a form that allows you to reflect on your leadership behaviours, but also allows you to reflect on the systems of your business. So you can do it as like a macro, once a year, more big review as a team, and these forms will help you from that high level point of view. I've seen companies do it, and especially around measures. Like, okay, measures is a system. I'm going to a system now. You look at the systems of measures, and the behaviours it plays out is just dramatic. Down from senior leaders getting measured based on profit results at the end of financial year, and that leading to a behaviour in the company where they stop investing in improvement or stop investing in anything throughout the final quarter and just drive absolute sales results to try and get as much output as they can. But meanwhile, all the improvement and systems of the company that are so critical to it progressing derail and go off the rails. Another one is salespeople. There's one company I'm working with at the moment where I actually asked a young leader. I was talking to a young leader there, Tom, and I said, Tom, mate, there's basically two things that are going to drive your culture, your team. One is your behaviours and the behaviours of the leaders around you, and the systems of that impact your team. And I said, okay, we spoke about then behaviours, and we spoke about systems. What systems are driving good behaviours? And we spoke about some of them. And I said, which ones are driving negative behaviours? And he said, Brad, the fact that where our commissions are capped at, sales commissions capped at 110%, and also we choose our own accounts each year based on what we think we can get growth out of. But what it leads to, two things. The capped commissions leads to salespeople sandbagging, it's called, where they look like they're heading for 110% and they stop driving extra sales and growth because they don't want to elevate their budget any further. And so you get this wave effect of sales performance. And the other factor that happens is that with them choosing their own account, a lot of the salespeople will actually drop accounts that may have a lot more growth potential in it, because maybe they sold a big deal last year to them and they don't want to have to, that big deal's not going to come through this year, so they're not going to look after them this year. And you end up with this account that's got massive potential into the future, but they don't get looked after because
it's a short-term thinking.
Oh, it's insane.
Oh, wow.
And you tweak that one system and you all of a sudden get behaviors in people that are, that are completely different. It's amazing when you think about it. Yeah.
I guess that year, financial year, could be considered a short-term.
That's massive.
Short-term thinking.
Yeah. I don't know who it was, but someone said to me, what counts in business is that we keep getting better for our people, for our customers, but also for the planet. And we had the planet. So really, why does it have to be blocked into a quarter and a year? Why don't we just keep rolling?
Mm-hmm. And your view, a customer as a lifetime customer.
Yeah. And our business metrics and drivers are just an ongoing rolling, you look more looking at year on year versus year performance and driving year versus year versus static. Like, why do we set specific budgets when really what we want is just growth and improvement ongoing? Let's just measure year on year growth and year on year improvement and keep tracking and driving that. Forecasting, like, really the most accurate data is what's happened in the past added on with what growth are we experiencing. Let's keep a rolling forecast going, and rather than static type budgets where you're trying to predict a year down the track. It's so simple, but that's another example of a system that drives behaviours. And why did we ever set it up in the first place? I don't know where it came from. Did it come out of accounting, or did it come out of the government setting up? I don't know. I'll have to look at that history and see why this is in place.
Yeah.
But certainly a great point, Em, because it's again a system that drives behaviours, and they aren't really behaviours that are best for the culture and best for shareholders and best for the future, because it doesn't drive that longer term thinking that you need to truly achieve great results. It's amazing.
It is amazing.
Again, another example of a system.
Yeah. I guess this is our turn to have a reflect, isn't it? And it's interesting how when you do take that time, the pieces of the puzzle can just fall into place. And I think, you kind of, when you give yourself that space to breathe and space to reflect, the magic happens, doesn't it? The magic happens.
I think the other thing too I'd add on what you said, Em, is that Peter Hines, he came up with a study a number of years ago where he found that what's most effective is where people are focused on two or three things at once, no more. And so when you're looking to go, well, what leadership behaviours do we need to alter or improve, or what systems, I'd really, take away from what Peter Hines says and choose your 1, 2 or 3.
Prioritise the top ones that you're going to be working on, and
just focus on them.
To work on.
Work on them, get the improvements, then when they're in place, go to your next 1, 2 or 3. Makes it a lot easier. And you actually achieve, I think a lot of the studies that he's done have shown that as soon as you push over that, you actually start to achieve less. You can take on 3 projects and achieve all 3. You could take on 9 and achieve 1.
Yes,
It's just crazy. Overburden has such an impact on humans.
I think that's where, the Scrum Board is so cool.
It's good.
It's so cool. It's so easy.
Yeah.
Because every thought you have, we put in the backlog. And it's just stored there. It's there. You haven't lost your thought. When it comes time for that retrospective and to plan the next sprint, you can glance back there and think, oh, that's no longer relevant. Just
get rid of it.
Get rid of it. I'm glad we didn't spend any time working on that one. Just flick them off. And kind of prioritise what 1 or 2 are we going to work on in that next sprint cycle. Shift them across to, we're going to do it.
Thanks, Jeff Sutherland, for what you created there, mate.
Thanks, Jeff.
You've helped us and helped so many, I know, mate, just with that simple system to create focus.
Yeah.
I think, and there's been one other insight I'd just like to share with it, is that, you know, everything that I've been focused on for 10 years or more, and a lot of other people I work with, like Peter Hines and others, has been focused on how to make transformation sustain and how to make excellence journey sustain. And there's been another recent insight I've had, which is, you know, yes, you need to think about your behaviors as leaders on how you engage people with change, and do you involve them or not, and do you do a great job of actually, you know, engaging with purpose and inspiring and getting that motivation. Just look at Cotter's 8 steps, you know, if you do that stuff well. But there's another factor, right, that I see is you could have a really good leadership team in place and the excellence journey is pumping. And then you start to get some changes there, and no matter how good it is, it can still start to crumble. You know, just with the wrong leader coming in, it can just destroy it. And I think there's an ingredient out of the HR side of things, which is succession planning and onboarding, those two systems, which is so critical. If you don't get onboarding and succession planning right, it's gonna crash, you know, more than likely. So it's such a critical system. Yeah, so I think succession planning has highlighted to me as so critical. I work with a company, very, very big company, and they've got an amazing process where they just have, each leader has to have 2 step-ups, they call them, where every leader has to look at their team and go, do I have 2 people who could take my role? And am I developing and coaching and growing them so that they can take my role? And I think in some very small teams, they do allow it to be 1 step up. You know, it's a system, but this system of step ups, it drives sustainability, because that person below, or the people below the leaders, are being coached and developed, and they understand the culture of the business, and they know the excellence journey. And as they come up and take over, they're going to exude that culture and keep that journey going. Whereas where I see it really go wrong is where a business, either really high up or even a senior leadership role across a whole heap of divisions, there's no succession. The leader leaves and the business goes, oh, I've got no one there I can bring up, I'm going to hire external. They go external, which I don't know what anyone else has found, but I've always seen it like Russian roulette. You can do is you've got to try as hard as you can in the interview process and what you do to get it right. But I still believe it's Russian roulette. You got a 50-50, if not worse, shot of getting it right. And it can totally destroy the journey. Whereas if you've got that system where you've got succession planning, you've got really good onboarding and development of people, so as you bring people in, if you have to, they're brought in really well into the culture. But, you know, bringing people in at the front line or in more graduate programs or trainee programs, like, that's beautiful, because you're bringing them in early and allowing them to grow in your culture and grow in your direction of where you're going, and then work their way up through this step-up style approach. And they also get experience when leaders are away. You know, when leaders are away, or if they're sick, well, one of them gets to step up and be the leader. So they're getting to practice their skills at leadership before they even actually become a leader. It's just beautiful. And it links back to what I said about systems, because that is a system that will drive a cultural behavior. If you don't have that system, you're playing Russian roulette
every time someone leaves.
And with your whole excellence journey or whatever you're trying to transform, you're playing Russian roulette, because you've got a fair chance that you could hire someone that you think's great, but really it doesn't work out, and there's a whole heap of damage that happens. I heard a saying once that they call those leaders seagulls, that you can have these leaders fly in, crap on everything, and then put all new stuff in and then fly off. And you know, you got the people in that area just going, oh my God, what's going on? Here we go again. Everything crashes, and then another leader flies in.
Tries to fix it.
So that part on succession, the system of succession planning and onboarding has just been highlighted to me in the last year or so. That's just like, it's paramount that organisations really think about this, even if they're small. You know, if you're a small 2, 3, 4, 5 person company, I think still thinking about succession planning, because what happens if you look at your people and you go, I don't have a succession, well, what do you do? You know, either you've got to develop someone and help them grow, or maybe you do have to bring someone in external in before they have to take a role and develop and grow them into that role.
Wow.
You know, so it
takes time.
Takes time.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a system that I think companies desperately need, particularly if they're trying to transform or trying to sustain an excellence journey, no matter what it is, whether it's an agile, lean, Six Sigma. It's critical. So that's my final insight for the year, everyone. I hope that helps.
Oh, well, it's been certainly a big year. We've got some really exciting interviews lined up for next year. As you mentioned, Dan Pink's coming on talking about his new book. Yeah,
Jeff Sutherland's coming back on talking about Scrum at Scale, and Avi Schneid coming on talking about another element of Agile. It's going to be good, big names.
Yeah, we've got quite a lineup already. So,
should mention Chris Butterworth and his new book.
Oh.
Yeah, all sorts. Yeah, it's been busy, so it's going to be good.
Yeah, so we'll really look forward to bringing the season 3 to you, and you know, thank you so much for being part of the podcast. We do this for our listeners and for you, and to help people and the planet.
Well, I think one thing we should mention on it too, like the recent times we've developed a vision into next year around how can we help more broadly. Like, definitely the podcast is something we set up so that we can share knowledge and get this amazing practices out more broadly. And the books that we've written and the ones we do in the future when we can again, we get the green light. Em's the product owner, so Em makes the call on the backlog in that regard. But when we do, we'll do that. But next year, we are going to be working on, we're doing large scale planning at the moment on a whole new offering to enable training where, you know, training in enterprise excellence and key elements of Agile and Leaders Who Serve can be done widely and at low cost so that people can get on training. But I think the thing that's exciting with it is us looking at how do we build a community where we can bring back our world's experts to provide this community knowledge and insight to help their journeys keep going, but also establish peer-to-peer support where a group of common-minded leaders and common-minded practitioners in excellence can gather and actually support each other too. Because half the battle with these journeys is being able to overcome challenges and keep the energy up and gain the support, because it can be tough. You know, I mentioned 3 things there today, and it seems simple, but it's not easy. And so I think that's exciting. I think this is a way that we'll be able to help a lot more people and a lot more organisations more broadly using some of the great outcomes of COVID, which is our use of virtual technology.
Yes, yeah.
So there's another silver lining.
Yeah, absolutely.
So stay tuned to that, everyone. This should be really, really exciting, really good.
Yeah, exciting times ahead. Well, we hope that you have a very restful and lovely Christmas, everybody, with your friends and family that you can see. And we'll be sweating it out here in Brisbane. It's 30, sometimes up to 34 degrees here in December.
100% humidity.
Oh man, it's hot. So we'll be, you know, splashing into the pool and turning the fan on and probably watching the Ashes on Boxing Day.
Yep, cricket. So it should be fun.
Yeah.
And have a great Christmas, everyone. Have a very safe Christmas. Lots of fun, lots of joy. Enjoy the time with the family and your friends. And we'll look forward to talking to you again in the new year.
Yeah. Thanks, Brad. Thanks for
Emma. Yeah, and thanks for everything, Em.
Yeah. Okay. Bye.
Bye.